Welcome to greeneconomy.tv. I'm your host and facilitator, Byron McDonald. Today, on our platform, we have Bertus Bierman, CEO of Lebalelo Water User Association. He will be going in conversation with publisher Gordon Brown of Positive Impact magazine. But before I go ahead, as I say each week, greeneconomy.tv provides insights and intelligence on all sustainability related matters. So, let's go ahead and welcome on our guests. Hey guys.
Good morning to you.
How are you? Good. How have you both been?
Very good, thank you.
Very good, Byron. And I see this is one of our first Monday morning interviews. So it's great to get up and get cracking and do all the things that we've got to do on a Monday. Reflect on the weekend, look at the week ahead. And what an absolute pleasure to have Bertus with us to talk about this super important subject of water and how it all fits together.
Mm-hmm. Gordon, as I do each week with a different segment, I'm going to hand over the show to you today. And you will ask all the relevant questions. I'll be in the background if you do need me. So I'll go ahead so we can get the show started. Because I think our viewers are itching and waiting on these questions that need to be answered.
No, absolutely, and thank you very much indeed. And just another warm welcome to Bertus Bierman from Lebalelo Water. Bertus, the water sector and water as an issue in this country is so fundamental. We know that it's also multifaceted and has multiple stakeholders, and some of the biggest problems. Well, let me put it this way. We struggle to get over and solve some of the many problems and biggest problems in our society, in our economy, and within government because we work in silos. So we've got a whole bunch of people working on this project over here, other people affected by it, not necessarily engaged. You've got industry over here, government here, and the communities here. But it seems like what you guys are doing at Lebalelo Water is to really break down these boundaries between these silos and to work together on the issues that affect your region. And of course, we're talking there about Limpopo. Perhaps give us some broader background. How did this association come about? Who are the role players? Who are these water users? And how does this fit together? And just give us a bit of background. Give us perhaps a propeller view, if you like, of the association and what you're trying to achieve there, please.
Thank you, Gordon. Lebalelo Water Users Association was established in 2002, and with the idea to provide bulk water infrastructure into, at that stage, the eastern limb of the Bushveld Ignis complex. That's the area to the east of Polokwane towards the town of Burgersfort. Now, at that stage, when it was established, it was mainly to provide water to the platinum industry that started to develop in that area. There was some older mines like the chrome mines, Manco, and these guys were still, was operating there, but not with, they couldn't expand because of a shortage of water. Now, the mandate of the organization is to provide water to raw water, which is unpurified water directly out of the Olifants River, to the mining industry and also to the municipality or the Sekhukhune District Municipality, who is the water service authority, to convert that water into potable water for the communities. Now, the organization, expanded from 2002 and 2007. They added another portion of the pipeline. We have about 110 kilometers of pipeline with, pump stations, reservoirs, and all of that, and ability to provide at full capacity 76 megaliters per day of water into the area. At the moment, we're running at around 50 megaliters per day due to various reasons. I think the industry, the mining industry, did not develop as quickly as they intended, and the social water has not happened. And that is one of our big issues that we need to address. Now, just in terms of who the members are, we have Anglo American Platinum, Rustenburg Platinum Mines, African Rainbow Minerals, Tubatsi Alloys, Chrome, Samancor Chrome, Northern Platts, Impala Platts, and Samrec and Corridor Mining, as well as DWS, that is a member of the organization.
Right. So by DWS, you're talking about the Department of
Water and Sanitation. Yeah.
Water and Sanitation. Yeah.
Mm.
So before we get on to asking you about just exactly how you go about achieving, so I guess first identifying and getting agreement on precisely what the objectives are, and then how you go about and achieve those. Perhaps just give us some broader background or context as to what the water issues are in your area. So, I mean, over the years, when the minute you hear water and mining, you think about things like acid mine draining, which is further west from you in the Gauteng area. I'm listening to you, and I'm hearing that the big issue there really is supply of water to enable the growth of the platinum mines in your area. I also see, I'm hearing there that really is a water access issue. Clearly, the municipality needs water in order to make water more widely available to the communities. What is the rainfall like in your area? Is scarcity an issue? Is access an issue? I'm taking it by, I'm assuming that because of the various pipes and pumping and activities that the location of the platinum mines is also a bit of a challenge insofar as not immediately adjacent to the river, to that Olifants River. Perhaps just give us a broad overview of what would you define as the characteristics of that relate to water from your geographical location.
Thanks. In terms of that area, it is quite a dry area. The rainfall is in the order of 400 to 600 millimeters per annum. So it's not a high rainfall. The area is actually quite dry and quite warm, so that in plants and things like that, there's not a lot of agriculture in the area, except a little bit of cattle and goat farming. It is an extremely rural area, so there's quite a lot of rural communities in the area. None of them have water directly. There isn't piped water in the area. So water comes mainly from boreholes that in that area, which is also a challenge because of the minerals in the area. When you drill boreholes, the water quality, the natural water quality is not good. What you get is specifically when you drill through some of the chrome strings, you can easily get chrome 6, and that chrome 6 is a very dangerous element because that can stimulate the growth of cancer cells. So in terms of the water that's currently in the area, people get either their water directly from rivers or from boreholes, and the distribution is very bad, if I say that way, because it's not everybody have water. And some of the communities, if they have water for 2 to 3 days a week, they are lucky to have it. So it is a very bad situation in terms of that. With that, you sit with the minds that, when we built the pipelines in 2002 and onwards, there's large pipelines going almost through communities towards the mines. But that water is not suitable for drinking because it's raw water, it's river water, and especially during the early rainy seasons, most of the years there's cholera breakouts because of the water quality in the river. So you can't just allow people to take water out of the pipelines. And also, these pipelines are 800 millimeter large. You can't just make a connection in it. The area, yes, they are spread over quite a distance all along the R37 road, which is between Polokwane and Burgersfort, and then also to the other side of Steelpoort into the mountains. So it's a difficult area. It's difficult to get water there. But our biggest concern, I think, is the fact that the mining industry have water, and the people, the communities that settle around them and on the way don't have. And to be honest with you, I would also be extremely unhappy if I see a pipeline with water going past my house and I don't have a drop to drink. The issue there again, and maybe that's part of the silo type of things, is the mandate of Lebalelo is in terms of the National Water Act, and we may only provide raw water, into the system. The municipality, the district municipality, who is the water service authority, is the only one that has the right to provide potable water to the communities. And yes, I think that type of silo mentality created in some instances, bulk water available and no potable. And I know in that area, there's also a lot of pipelines being built for potable, but never linked up because, that just never this holistic view of how to make sure that we actually take water from the source straight to the tap and through all the processes. I think that's one of the big concerns that we have in that area. Obviously, because of that, the people are very unhappy. There's quite a lot of violence and damaging of infrastructure due to the fact that there's a shortage of jobs and there's a shortage of water infrastructure, and actually basic infrastructure. So the people felt left out, and they start to become more and more violent, and it's just you can't continue that way. We need to do something.
Yeah, so there's clearly a conflict, if you like, that's emerged between the communities and ostensibly the providers of infrastructure and industry and as you say, it's not a simple fix. You can't just pop a hole through a massive infrastructure pipeline, and in any case, even if you could, the water inside that pipeline is not fit for use. So quite interesting and challenging. So this brings me to just talking about one of your primary objectives at Lebalelo Water. I mean, so your statement is is improving lives through water. Perhaps just tell us what that means and what are the objectives associated with that, and how are you going to do that?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an important thing, and it's a very loaded few words to improve lives through water. First of all, if you talk about in terms of the economy, you could improve lives by ensuring that, the mining industry and other businesses can thrive because they have water and they can do their business. But I think to me, the more important thing is that to provide water to the community, then obviously mean that the quality of life is far better. By providing a potable water, make sure that the health of your communities increase. By providing it to their houses, mean that there's time available that they can do other things and therefore become more active in the economy instead of making sure that they collect water and everything, and that takes quite a large portion of their day. The other thing that we need to understand with that is that once the infrastructure is coming in, there is a huge opportunity for local business, local skills and enterprise development that would change the lives of the people. In that area, there's a enormous unemployment, and we need to try and do something to get people more active into the economy. Now, a community is a complex entity. By just providing them with one element like water will not necessarily, satisfy them. Yes, it will satisfy people for a while, but you need to look at the longer term, the sustainability of a community, and that is different because people must want to stay there because they feel they belong, they feel they get what they need in the area. And that is part of the long-term sustainability that we want to bring in by starting with and then also taking it further to do a socio-economic development program where you look at all the different elements of a community and start to implement that.
Yes. So I mean, it's really, as you say. I mean, water it can be the foundation from which you can then really look at mechanisms to drive and advance the economic opportunities and therefore the livelihood opportunities for those communities. Just one related question. I want to come across and talk about infrastructure because I know that that's really at the root of what you guys do there. But it's just one of the things that you observe when you fly SA Airlink. They fly a slightly different route to SAA, and you actually fly over the Orange River. And as you go along, you see it goes through the desert, but on either side you've got amazing agricultural land. Is there an opportunity? I mean, you mentioned earlier that it's a relatively dry place. There's not massive amounts of agriculture on the go. Is there enough water? Is the current infrastructure or the infrastructure you're planning, is there enough water there to perhaps create branches along these pipelines that could perhaps then stimulate agricultural operations along the pipelines? Is that something that's being considered at all?
With the shortage of water in that area, specifically out of the Williefonds and the De Hoop Dam, there isn't much opportunity for large-scale agriculture. What we are planning and what we agreed with the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Water and Sanitation is that we will allow small farmers to operate and to take a certain volume of water out of our pipeline. Now, that's not a commercial farmer. It's not, because farmers are using huge volumes of water.
Yes.
We're talking here of a maximum of 10,000 liters per day per entity. So then we can do about 50 to 100 small-scale farmers that can start all along the pipeline. We're busy with the process with the Department of Agriculture to set these up. But it's not an agricultural area, first of all, that with the possibility of irrigation. There's just not enough water.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I hear you on that one. So perhaps so just a further point in context. I mean, we know that so we've just had the COVID lockdown, we've just had a massive impact or crisis, if you like, in the economy. And even before that, of course, we've needed action policies to trigger the economy. And we've got in President Cyril Ramaphosa, we have a leader who's driving very hard to bring through infrastructure as a basis to stimulate the economy. And in particular, he's talking about sustainable infrastructure. And of course, anything relating to water and the supply of water and access to water falls very centrally into that discussion around sustainability. What infrastructure would you guys ideally want? Are you busy proposing infrastructural projects, and are you in touch with these initiatives of the presidency via the Department of Water and Sanitation? And perhaps just give us some sense of what the potential is should the government decide to invest in infrastructure within this region.
Yes, I think we've done our concept study and also a proposal to the Department of Water and Sanitation. And hopefully during this week, there's another session with the minister's advisors that we are setting up to try and get to a point where the approval can be given. And I believe it is the right solution. What we are proposing to the department is that Lebalelo, as a government and private sector entity, be able then to build infrastructure, large infrastructure. The Olifants River Water Resource Development Project that was on the cards now for quite some time, of which two portions is being built, that we propose that we take it further. We built a pipeline from the Flag Bashilo Dam towards Mogalakwena to provide water into Mogalakwena area, and then also from our pipeline to Olifantspoort, which will then enable Polokwane to get more water out of it. That's the first portions of call it the bulk water scheme that we want to do. And then in the Mogalakwena area and in the Sekhukhune district around the mines, we want to build potable water infrastructure to provide in the order of 400,000 people with water on a yard connection basis. So I think in terms of that, it is, I think, the first time that there's really a holistic view of and a proposal on providing water not only to the mining industry, but to the infrastructure, to the communities themselves. Now, it is quite a large project. It's a 21 billion rand project, and it will take some time to do. But I think the important thing here is that this is exactly what the president said when he said we need to build infrastructure and we need to collaborate with each other. In the organization, as soon as we continue, both parties will have the same membership, so there will be shared control, shared responsibilities within a structured organization that can handle that, because that's how we work.
Mm. So, I mean, and so what you're describing is really a solution that solves those problems that you discussed earlier. So, on the one hand, you need the mines to have access to water. So you've got that already, but if you make that, if you expand upon that, or make it broader, perhaps, for the mines, you have this potential to help the mines to grow, to stimulate the mines themselves, and that drives employment in and of itself, but also by providing it with potable water. But how many jobs are you hoping to create in the process? Let's say you got just the process itself of actually constructing the project. Would that also be a stimulant in and of itself in terms of creating jobs and skills in the area?
When you look at the project, and we've done the model that PwC uses for the government projects, it comes out that there will be in the order of 42,000 sustainable jobs. That means not jobs for 1 year only. The shortest period is approximately the 6 years, when during construction, but for the life of this infrastructure, there's operational employment, and also the mines need to be to have more employment. So we're talking in total in Limpopo alone of 42,000. We didn't take the others. Gauteng will definitely also benefit. But I think the important thing that we're saying is that not only the jobs, but the income into poor households. At the moment, it shows that there will be about 300 million per annum going into households during construction period. But our view is that this is the minimum, because this project is actually a catalyst to start the socio-economic development, and the ensuring that these communities get skills development, enterprise development, and can participate in not only the construction, but also the spin-offs later on. Once people have water close to their houses, or at their yard connection, there's other things that can be stimulated, like plumbers taking the water into the houses, and all of that. So this is the beginning of something very big, and hopefully that can turn that area into a more economic active environment.
Absolutely. And you spoke earlier about, the waste of time, and how such an initiative would literally just give back that time to the community, which can then be actively. Just touch briefly on the health issues associated with access to water. So, I'm not sure how your region's been affected by COVID, for example, and the need all of a sudden to really highlight the washing of hands, personal hygiene, and so forth. The project also positively impact the communities from that perspective.
Absolutely. When COVID started and the lockdown happened, everybody started running around and saying, but how can we provide water to the community so that they at least have water available to wash their hands? Because, washing your hands in the river is not very feasible, and, you don't have water close to your house. So Lebalelo started engaging with DWS and with the Sekhukhune district municipality, and said to them that we are prepared to assist them, at least to make sure that there's water in the vulnerable communities. Now, in that area of Tubatsi and Makuthatamaga, which is the two municipalities around us, they identified 72 communities that are, quite vulnerable. And Lebalelo then put tanks into that area. We constructed 72 tanks plus we bought 6 water tankers, and we hired some more to provide water during this period into that area. And with the schools in June, the 1st of June, the schools would have opened. I don't know if you remember that that was the first time they would have opened. But the issue, especially in Limpopo, was that the schools don't have water. So over a weekend, Lebalelo installed 47 tanks at schools, and that Monday morning, the 1st of June, they were filled with water. Unfortunately, no children went to school because they decided that they're not going to open the schools. But that's what we did. The other thing that we're busy with is that's taking us a bit longer. But in some of these communities, we now also drilling boreholes and provide, more permanent water to these tanks. Boreholes is difficult, but we have a very good team that ensure that when we drill the boreholes, that we target it in areas where better quality of water can be obtained. But you can't get boreholes to all communities. It's expensive, but it's also, in terms of the area, you can't provide. There is just no underground water available in that area. So it is a challenge. But Lebalelo has, done quite a lot for COVID. But I also need to say, we are a non-profit organization. So although Lebalelo is doing it, it is actually our members that are prepared to provide us with the funding to do that. We have spent just over 26 million rand in providing this water to the communities.
No, well, thank you very much indeed for giving us some insights into the practical ways that, or rather the practical challenges that exist through, a pandemic like COVID, and what you and your members have done there. I think certainly, in concluding from my side, one can get a sense of the strategic objectives. One can get a sense of the role of industry, the challenges in the community, the challenges that the municipality itself is facing, limitations to water generally in some of the bigger urban areas. And so it seems that, this particular, these big pipeline projects that you're referring to, it would seem to me to be obvious. They seem to touch all the communities and or rather all the various stakeholders, and seem to address a range of issues that are interconnected. And certainly from my side, I wish you the very best in your efforts to lock down that project. I'm hoping that the president's efforts and certainly the language and the actions of the president to fast track these types of projects ultimately gives rise to your project being one of these that's being fast tracked. And so just if I can ask you in conclusion, just to talk about some of the next steps for Lebalelo Water. Talk us perhaps just through the final roadmap that you need to go through to anchor this project, and perhaps just share your vision for what the future might look like, and certainly in your area of Limpopo, should this project ultimately succeed. And at the end of that, Byron will jump back on and take over. But without further ado, firstly, from me, thank you very much indeed for joining us. So please do give us this vision of yours for where we can go in this region should these plans of yours materialize.
Thank you very much. It's really a wonderful opportunity to talk to you today. In terms of our vision, I think, first of all, once we have the approval of the department to continue, there's a few steps one need to go through. First of all, the pre-feasibility and feasibility studies, which will take some time, design and construction. The project is quite large, so going through all the phases will take us in total about up to 8 to 10 years before everything is installed. I think the wonderful thing here is that I see our communities having water and becoming economic active, but more so becoming members of communities that feel that they belong, because government and the private sector is also supporting them to help them to get out of this poverty clutches that we need to bring our people into a better space. I think what's also very important with this project, this could be a new way of doing water schemes, because where the mining industry is involved, like areas of Rustenburg and the Northern Cape, and even in the Eastern Cape, there's opportunity that we can use the same type of model to provide water there. With the mines specifically having their social labor plan funding and their commitments to labor sending areas, it can be one of the next steps to provide water into the Eastern Cape, which is one of the big labor sending areas, to make sure that we not only use this opportunity for our own area, but to roll it out to larger areas such as the Northwest, the Northern Province, Northern Cape, as well as the Eastern Cape. So I am very, very optimistic that this will be a game changer for South Africa economically, but far more so socially. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent insight. And I love the interview. I was just sitting back also and enjoying it. Gents, thank you so much for being on the platform and for sharing so much insight.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
very much indeed. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.
As each week we share so much insight and intelligence on this platform, and water is something you can't live without, and Lebalelo is bringing their part and on sustainable side. So as I say each week, greeneconomy.tv provides insights and intelligence on all sustainability